So that other video that I did, a lot of you guys did not like what I said. What I was trying to get across was that you'll be surprised at what the Nikon D5200 can actually do up against the Nikon Z50. And the TLDR is that, yes, you have your Nikon Z50 right here, which has a better image processor, newer technology, and of course better autofocus and low light capability. It's up against 10-year-old technology, older sensor, still APS-C, but older image processor, as well as just overall form factor, and autofocus is non-existent in video. Which is why in this video, I'm going to do a complete low light video test where I take both cameras right here, same conditions. I'm going to use one light and see what you guys can actually tell in terms of low light capabilities. I'll be changing the Nikon Z50 settings to 1080p, so it's more of a fair advantage, as well as, using the same light, exact same angle at the same time, so you guys can tell me which camera actually does better in the low light performance. In photos, you can't really tell that much because, especially if you have a well lit situation, but if you take away all the lights, how does the video actually look on a camera that was just released 2 years ago versus a camera that was released almost a decade ago? Stay tuned. So as you can see right now, what I'm doing is these are D5200, Z50. I'll be both using the similar kit lens equivalent 18 to 55. Both these have those horrendous barrels extensions when you unlock the zoom ring, right? And yeah, let's get this show on the road. Take off the lens cap. Both these cameras are shooting at 1080p, 30 frames per second. You're looking at 1/60, 3.5 aperture, and 100 ISO. But let's see if I can get both these videos to be properly exposed. So first, I'm going to crank the Z50. Let's go up to 600 ISO, right? Then I'm going to do the Nikon D5200 to crank this up to 600 ISO as well to see if it matches. 640. As you can see, because of the picture profile, I can only see from the LCD screens that because I'm using a flat picture profile on my Z50, you can tell that the colors are much more matted, which is better for video. Whereas my D5200, I'm trying to use a equivalent of that, but the colors pop up a little too much. As for lighting, if I were to move the camera, let's say, over here, let's see how that would look. So right now on the screen, you see both cameras at the exact same video camera settings and ISO. Next is I'm going to try to bump up the ISO again so it is properly exposed. So let's try this at 4000 ISO. And from the looks of it, I don't need to bump up the D5200 ISO to 4000. I'm looking at probably 2000 ISO on the D5200 to have it properly exposed. And this, guys, is essentially with no lighting whatsoever. Then the last and final test, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the ceiling light. Completely black except for that horrendous computer screen lighting, but I want to see how this actually does. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna crank up both these ISOs. So this is going up to ISO 256,000, and I'm going to go to high 2 on the ISO. So both of these, as you can tell now, which one actually does better in low light scenarios. If I max out The ISO, also known as the camera's sensitivity to light to its max capabilities. So I'm using the 16 to 55 as well as the 18 to 55 equivalent. So now you can clearly see the difference between what's actually doing well in low light capabilities in comparison to, let's say, a 10-year-old camera. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be introducing a light to this, a single source light, and seeing how both cameras do in a head-to-head video comparison. And now you'll see what each camera can do in a setting where there is some light. So same thing, I'm going to change the ISO, D5200. Let's keep it at 200 ISO. Same thing on the Z50. Let's crank it to 320 ISO. You guys tell me in the comments which video actually looks better in this situation. Yes, the light is a little closer to the D5200, but if I were to move the ring light source, it would actually change the video quality if it is directly right behind it. So right now, I am moving the ring light so it is directly behind both cameras. I'm going to turn off this fill light. And you guys let me know if there's a difference between both of these videos in terms of, yes, you're shooting at both APS-C, but, all right, one is older in terms of image processing, and can you tell the difference even though these are both APS-C sensors? And that, guys, was my low light video test, the D5200 up against the Nikon Z50. This time you guys let me know which camera looks better, of course which one looks superior, but could you really tell the big difference if both of these cameras are APS-C sensors, meaning crop sensor with the exact same kit, lens, as well as the exact same lighting environment? Can you tell that much? You guys let me know in the comments below. And if you watch this far, my name is Peter from Broke Visionary Collective. Make sure you grab my camera guide, link in the description below, to help you learn any camera, because at the end of the day, the channel is about being a better content creator. It isn't being about a camera techie without actually ever having released any cameras or talking from the on YouTube. It's about being a better creator, and nothing should stop you, especially if it's your gear. You have a story, go out and tell it. You're watching Broke Visionary Collective, where we all start with nothing, but you can always create something.